Hey guys, and welcome back to the Life and Leadership Under Construction podcast. I am Sonia Bennett, and it is sponsored by Becca Organic Glo, which is an all-natural skincare and health and wellness brand. Listen, this is episode number 2. So if you missed episode number 1, please go back and watch it. Also, make sure you stop and hit that subscribe button down at the bottom and turn your notifications on so you will not miss an episode. Life in Leadership Under Construction is all about transparency and transformation because you cannot build without a solid foundation. So let's jump right into episode number 2. Love and lust. Baby, this is getting ready to get a little steamy, okay? So stick with me throughout this entire podcast. You are sure to leave with some type of gems, okay? Love and lust. Love. Love is a 4-letter actionable word. That means mean what you say and say what you mean. Period. Don't say it unless you mean it. And you can do small acts of service when it comes to love. It doesn't have to be anything grand. You don't have to spend a lot of money on it. You know, just small, intimate acts of service is good enough. That actually show people that you really love them. A lot of people, they're not moved by what you can buy them, but show me that you love me. That means more than anything. Money cannot buy true love. Lust is something that you possess, like you have a sexual desire for something or someone. Let me give you a scenario, okay? So this is for all my single people. You get dressed, right? Follow me. You get dressed, your face is beat, your body is snatched, you looking good, okay? You go out, you go to a restaurant or wherever you go, and here comes this fine specimen of a human being. Y'all lock eyes, okay? And immediately you see that you have a physical attraction to one another. That person proceeds to approach you, and of course you're getting nervous because you're back out there on the dating scene, and sometimes that can be a little bit intimidating. So they approach you, right? And you start talking, and they proceed to just have a seat, and y'all just engage in conversation, right? So as y'all engaging in conversation, you not really you're not paying attention to the conversation. You're not hearing anything that they're saying out of their mouth. Like, you know that their lips, the lips are moving, but you're not comprehending anything that they're saying because you're, for one, still mesmerized by how good they look. That physical attraction is definitely there. So you like where this conversation is going, even though you're not really grasping much of it, but you just like what you see, okay? And this person asks you if they can take you out on a date because, that first interaction is really not a date. You were in an environment, they were in an environment, and you so happen to make a connection. That's not a true date. They ask you to go out on a true date, and you all exchange numbers. Okay, cool. So they call you, and they happen to want to FaceTime you because, technology is so advanced now. And they happen to want to FaceTime you. I would suggest make sure that you do accept a FaceTime call from this individual, and you need to make sure you're in your most natural state, meaning you don't have on any makeup or very little. You have no lashes on, so the lashes are not on. No hair, like your hair is not all made up. It's just your natural self. You have on lounge clothes, or active wear or something like that. You are just your authentic natural self. And just see how they react to that, because a lot of people, for some reason, they don't think reality, when they first meet someone. They feel like that you're supposed to look like that all the time. And I don't know what world they live in. But just see how that person react to you. See if they still tell you that you're beautiful, or see if they, become hesitant, or, they look a certain way or whatever. Just see what their reaction is. Because you want to show up as your true authentic self in the beginning of a relationship. Because time is your most valuable asset. Don't waste your time if that person doesn't really truly, see themselves with you. So see how they react to you, and that way they know that, hey, you're gorgeous when you're all made up. You're even more beautiful when you're at your natural state. So just see how, how that goes. See how you vibe with that. And then go ahead and go on your date. And by the time you go on so on that date, you still want to be kind of like, it'll be pretty much like the first date, basically. You basically just really getting to know one another. You really don't know much about one another. You just know that you're physically attracted. That will probably go on between dates 1 and 3. Same type of sort of conversations. You just basically vibing, having fun. Now, when it comes to like the 4th or 5th date, the 4th date, just make sure that you go somewhere like more serene. Go to like a park or have like a picnic or something like that where you can get emotionally connected with this person, because you already know that you already locked with the physical attraction. That's good. But you want to make sure that you can emotionally connect with someone, because that's where the work coming in. So go to a park or have a picnic and just start to emotionally connect with that person. Start to ask them, simple questions. You don't want to come out with that first initial date, the 4th date. You don't want to come out with the deep questions. You want to basically try to see what their character is. You want to see how they handle certain situations, how they respond to certain situations, if they're willing to answer your questions, or if they're basically kind of like hesitant to answer your questions. You want to make sure that you just see if they're aggressive, or if they have anger, like cues of anger issues. You want to just see how the conversation flow. You want to see if you have any type of chemistry with this person. You want to see if they allow you to speak and, not just constantly speak over you. Just see just how it flow with that 4th date, the 4th and 5th date. You're just going to see how it flows, see if the chemistry is there, to see if you should continue with this, relationship. See if it's worth building. Now, around the 5th date, that's when you need to start digging in a little deeper, okay? Still try to be in a serene environment to where you can actually be able to communicate and hear one another and really be in tune with the conversation. So you still want to pick like a serene location. I'm not sure about inviting people over to your home. That's just left up to your comfort level or whatever, because you got to be you have to be very careful with that nowadays. So that's left up to your comfort level. However, you do need to be still in a serene environment. And then with that date, you want to start asking them more of the deeper questions. You don't want to get into the deeper questions so soon, because you don't want to feel like you're interrogating them and you don't want to run them away. So you basically just trying to feel them out the first, several days that y'all go on. Now, that 5th date, when you start asking them the more deeper questions, you want to ask them questions like, do you have any kids? Have you ever been married? You want to ask them about dig more into their career and occupation, just to see what you get, because you can learn a lot, and you deserve to ask those questions, especially if it's someone that you can potentially see yourself with. You deserve to know those questions. So don't feel bad about asking those questions that you deserve to know the answer to. Ask them if they have a criminal record, and when you first lock eyes, you see that they have it all together. They have nice clothes on, they look good, have a nice car, nice house, all these nice things, a nice job, but you want to make sure if that's actually factual and not a facade, because some people, they can articulate things so well, they can sell themselves so well. They really can sell themselves so well, and honey, they will have clothes on with tags still on them, and because they're going to take them back, or they rent a car, you can rent a house, or Airbnb or whatever. It's so many ways to lie to people nowadays. You just have to be extremely careful. So you want to basically tap into those deep questions to see if you can learn a little bit more about that person before you go any further. Because like I said, materialistic things can fade. And you want to know if you have your person. And you want to know that early in the relationship rather than later in that relationship. So you want to ask those deeper questions. They need to know, like, what are your goals and aspirations? You need to know what are their goals and aspirations to see if you all both align with the same goals and aspirations, because you might not align with the same goals and aspirations. And that will basically let you know if you need to continue as well. But just get to know one another. Ask them if they want kids. Because you might not want kids, but see if they're okay with that. They need to know up front, hey, this is something I don't want any more kids, or I don't want kids. They need to know that. They need to know some things about you so they can start to see if they're willing to stick it out or if they're not interested. And for all my married people out there, or people who aspire to be married, I'm going to start with saying this. Everyone aspires to grow old with someone and sit on the porch in a rocking chair and just talk about the past. You want someone that can be your best friend. That's what everyone aspires to have. But let me tell you, before you go to that altar and say, I do, you need to make sure that you did not miss anything, because oftentimes we can be so vulnerable. We start to miss things that we should have caught early on in the relationship. And not only that, just like you said, I do, you can say, I don't, if it ain't working. You don't have to sit there in a relationship if it's not working. You saw how that person was when you were dating them. So why would you even say, I do? Wait until God sends you who you need to have. Don't be so too vulnerable until you just, you accept anything. You don't want to accept anything. So be patient, if anything. But my married people, sometimes you're sleeping next to a total stranger. You don't know who you're sleeping next to sometimes. Because you meet somebody so superficial, you don't really connect with them emotionally, so you don't know how that person is. And then you wonder why when you get with them, they act the way they act. No, you should have actually been able to notice that early on into the relationship. Marriage is hard. If anyone, for all my married people out there, listen, marriage is hard. But marriage, it has great benefits, I can say it has some great benefits, but you do have to have two individuals that's willing and able to stick it out together. Relationships are hard work, but it's manageable. It's very manageable. You just have to have, like I said, two individuals that's willing to put in that work, because when the times get hard and when the storm comes, you're going to have someone that's able to weather that storm. and not someone that's going to run when times get hard. So that's why you have to be careful when you're lusting after something, because you have to know if that person, how do they adjust to adversity, challenges, obstacles, storms. All of that is going to happen in a relationship, and you need to know if they're able to handle it, or are they going to jump ship when times get hard. But you need to know all of those things before you actually go to the altar and say, I do, for sure. All my married people also, when you met them and they look good, I mean, they were banging, things start to change as you age, as you grow older. Things start to change. Your body starts to change. Like women, we bear children, so our bodies don't look the same, and I don't care how much weight you lose after you have the baby, your body still would never ever be the same. So we go through a lot of changes, and whereas your body was banging once before and now it's hanging, it is what it is. And you just have to make sure you get with someone who can adjust to that, who can embrace every single thing about you, every role, every stretch mark, every whatever. They're in the struggle with you. They're right there with you. So be careful when you lusting after something. Just develop that emotional connection with people to see if, the physical attraction is great, because that's one great aspect. You definitely need to know that you are physically attracted to someone. Now, when you are physically attracted to someone, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're sexually attracted to that person. So you have to make sure that you're physically attractive, emotionally connected and attracted to that person. And you also have to make sure you're sexually attracted to that person. It's a lot. Take your time. Trust the process. Don't rush things. Find out things in the beginning. It will save you a lot of time, and it definitely will save you a lot of money, because getting a divorce is not cheap. And getting a divorce is not always the answer. People need to learn how to stick it out, talk it out, work it out. Stop trying to just run and just jump ship. And because you get out of that relationship and get into another one, the grass is not greener on the other side. Okay? You have the same problems, just different faces. So work it out. If you're in a great relationship right now, and no relationship is perfect, but if you're in a relationship that's workable right now, work it out. Work it out, because you will definitely live life with regrets if you don't. So whatever is going on, work it out. Talk it out. It's not that deep. It is not that deep. You have to work it out, okay? Because there's nothing left out there, period. And you don't want to find yourself going on date after date after date after date, and it's not working, because you just have so much going on now. You have people trying to catfish you. You have online dating. You have serial liars out there. So you have to protect yourself and be very careful out there. But guys, that is the episode, Love Over Lust. You want to always choose love at the end of the day, but love is an actionable word. Remember, if you say that word, you need to mean what you say and say what you mean. Don't use it loosely. And lust, when you lust after something, you are playing with fire, and you will eventually get burned. So do not lust after anything, okay? And if you're in a relationship, make sure you keep your sparks going. And the only way you can keep the sparks going, you have to ignite it. You have to do things. Regardless of how life's, you cannot forget about one another. You cannot forget about the reason why the two of you fell in love from the beginning. So always remember that. And if you keep that in the forefront, your relationship will flourish. You have to cultivate it though. You have to treat a relationship is like a newborn baby. You have to nurture it. And whatever you nurture what you want to grow, right? So if you want that relationship to grow and flourish, you have to nurture it. So do whatever it takes. Okay. All right, guys. So that's episode number 2. I pray that you guys can find you someone that can love you, every single part of you. And if for some reason it didn't work in the past, just learn from it. Don't beat yourself up about it. That's just part of life too. Failure is a part of life. It's part of the process of life. So don't beat yourself up about it. That just wasn't your person. So learn what you have to learn about yourself so that when you do find someone else, you can show up in that relationship being the best version of you. Okay? Y'all have an amazing one. Please be sure to check out the next episode, and please make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. Okay, we gotta build community. I want to hear some comments. I want you to comment on the podcast. Let me know if you've encountered some problems out there on the dating scene, or even once you got married. Let me know if you encounter some problems with the person not being the true person that you thought that you were marrying. And that's the only way that we can help each other grow, is if you're willing to share and be transparent about your journey, with relationships, because there are people out there for you. You just have to knock that wall down, peel back some layers so that they can get to you, okay? Be careful and don't open up your heart to just anyone. Make sure it's that person that has that true potential, okay? And that person that you want to maybe build with. I'll see y'all next time. This was so much fun. Y'all better go ahead and subscribe so y'all can have all this fun. Talk to y'all next time.